Hi guys! Today we're talking about cowboys. Or at least we're reading books that talk about cowboys. Welcome to my channel. This is my first ever vlog. I'm so excited, also nervous about it because I have never done this before. But I really love watching vlogs, especially when they're themed and they're about a subject. So, cowboy vlog, here we go. Here's the backstory. We don't really have cowboys in my country. There's no such thing as cowboys. We have villagers that have 2 or 3, maybe 10 cows, but they're not really something called a cowboy. So I never felt the draw to read cowboy romance or anything associated to cowboys, even watching movies. A month ago, I want to say, I started watching Yellowstone with my dad. We both loved it for the same reasons, because of the vibe, because of the atmosphere, because of the animals. That's where the similarities end, because my main reason were these people. That's where I realized if I have such a big crush on these people, I should really try reading cowboy romances, because why not? And here we are right now. I know that Elsie Silver is the most popular cowboy romance writer, but I'm not going to start with her because I'm usually more defensive towards popular books. So I'm going to start with other books and maybe get myself into Elsie Silver later on. What I'm going to start with is Holding the Reins. I've heard many people love this book and I like the cover. It looks fun and a little bit silly. So I'm going to start with that one and we're gonna see how it goes. I don't know if I will actually like this. I mean, watching it is different because you have the visual of the horses and the ranch and the family. I'm not sure if the books will do it for me and whether or not I will like it, but I'm going to give it a very fair shot. I'm hoping that I will love this and this becomes one of my favorite new genres. Let's go. Wish me luck! So I'm 25% into Holding the Reins. This is about our female main character named Cece and her brother's best friend Nash. So Cece moves back home from Seattle when she breaks up with her fiance and she doesn't want to really live in that city anymore. So she moves back home to this ranch. Her father has recently passed away, so she's dealing with a lot of emotions of the whole relationship that was not really a healthy one, and losing her father, whom she very much loved. She immediately meets Nash, who is, as I said, her brother's 2 older brothers' best friend, and she always had a crush on him, so it's a brother's best friend kind of romance. I have seen people call it a cowboy romance, and I mean, I guess it's on a ranch. She lives in a ranch, her family owns the ranch, and her brothers are cowboy, her father was a cowboy, and they own horses and cows and all this stuff. But here's the thing, he's not really a cowboy. She calls him a part-time cowboy, which is funny. He owns the ice rink, so he was a former hockey player and now he has bought the rank and he manages that place. Usually children come there to have hockey lessons and he has trainers and stuff. He also owns the bar, and not just owns it, he manages it. He's a bartender there some nights, especially when she visits that bar, and sometimes helps her family on the ranch. So that's where the cowboy part comes in. And since it's just a part-time thing that he helps the family, he's not really a cowboy, but he wears Wranglers. So we're gonna count him as a cowboy. I do like Cece very much. She's a very fun girl and she actually embraced the fact that she's a fun girl and has a very extroverted friend group. They go out a lot, they drink way too much, and they know it, and they love each other for it. So I'm here for it, and I'm going to update you later. It's night, I'm wearing my pajamas, don't mind how I'm dressed. I'm at 80%, I haven't updated you since 25%, I think, because there wasn't really that much going on. She started working for him, and throughout this phase there were them hooking up, basically. Yeah, it was them hooking up, and there wasn't really that much interesting thing to update you on, but I'm here right now because this is the first time that this man, Nash, is on a horse. I mean, I'm sure he was on a horse in some other chapter when he was talking to one of her brothers, but she hasn't seen him on a horse this whole book. So when she sees him on a horse, I actually noticed. I'm going to read it to you. So I'm going to remind you, this is 80%. I thought this was a cowboy romance. Nash rides like a natural, always has. His wranglers hug him in all the right places, down to his worn-in cowboy boots, and his gray t-shirt grips his upper arms as he holds the rein tight. His cowboy hat shields his face from the sun, and he's smiling at two of the kids in tow as they jog behind him for the first time on their respective horses in our massive 200-foot arena. He's on a horse! That's all I wanted to update you about. And yeah, he's a cowboy for this moment. And I'll update you when I finish this book, I guess. Okay, I said I would be done the next time I update you. I'm not done yet, but there's something I want to tell you about. You know how when we're 70%, 80% into a book, there's a third act breakup? So this book doesn't have it, and I'm really thankful because I really don't enjoy it, and I don't think it's really necessary for it to be there. But they do have an argument, which is not something that the author wrote just to make it more interesting. They always were going to have this argument because they didn't really communicate well. They knew they liked each other, they didn't tell each other that, they didn't communicate it, and they just hooked up many times. And the spicy scenes were good. I mean, the writing of the spicy scenes were actually acceptable, and I liked it. It wasn't the best. The dirty talk was not really my style, because dirty talk for me is a hit or miss, and this one towed the line and I didn't really like it. But what was I saying? Yeah, so the argument actually had to happen, and they had their argument, and you know, when this happens, the usually male main character realizes that he has made a mistake, goes to our girl and is like, I did this because I had this trauma and this trauma and this trauma, and I'm sorry, I love you. He speaks openly and emotionally, and so the girl forgives him. Not what happened here. I mean, yeah, he did, but she didn't really forgive him. She said okay, but also made him crawl to her. Cecilia Ray Ashby made this former hockey player, bar owner, hockey rank owner, the whole community respects him, and all the women want him, man, crawl to her so that she would forgive him. I have seen men, fictional men, do this to their women, but never the girl. It was my first, and I'm going to read it to you because I love this part. Crawl to me, baby, I whisper, my voice raspy and sweet. Nash doesn't even consider what I asked for more than 1 second. His knees hit the floor with a thud. He discards his shirt and begins moving toward me. My breathing increases as I watch his powerful inked body making his way towards me. Now, it goes on, and I want you to be ready for what he says to her. Ready? You're the queen I crawl to. I'll kneel at your feet for the rest of my fucking life. Now, sit on your throne. Oh my god, this was good. This actually made this whole book worth it. I love this part. I think this is the first thing I highlighted since the beginning of the book. And welcome like a dog, sis. Welcome like a dog. I'm out. I'm going to actually update you when I'm really done. See you. So it's late. I'm going to head to bed. And I was thinking about updating you on Holding the Reins that I finished in the morning, but I think I want to start the other book before I sleep a little bit in bed. So I'm going to update you now and see you in the morning. I finished this book, as I said. It wasn't really a cowboy romance in my opinion, so I'm not going to judge it. It's not the book's fault, I'm just saying it for the sake of this vlog. The book itself was okay. There was nothing really special about it. I didn't really love the bond between the two characters. I didn't really see the love between them. The lust was there, and the spice was good, but the love was never really there for me. I enjoyed the vibes of the ranch. I loved the family dynamics, and actually I loved her brothers more than I loved Nash. So anyways, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of cheat, because in this book we had some snippets of her brother Wade and the new horse trainer Ivy, and they seemed amazing, like exactly my style of man. And since this book was not really that much cowboy, that's not a word, since this book didn't really have that much cowboys in it, I'm going to read the second book of this series before I move on to the other ones, so that we can actually have that cowboy experience. It's gonna probably be very fun because Wade is extremely grumpy and she's the sunshinest of all sunshine, so this is gonna be fun to read. A few things about this book. First of all, I'm going to give it 3 stars. It was mid. The nickname, oh yeah, they called each other baby too much. Like every other sentence had a baby in it. Come here, baby. Okay, and lie down, baby. And I was like, stop with the baby. I don't like baby as a nickname. It's fine, but I don't like it. I don't enjoy it, and it was too much repetition. I was like, baby, 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 baby. Okay, enough with the baby. But he also called her Firefly because she lit his dark world, and that was fine. It was a little bit cheesy, but it was cute, and it wasn't really used that many times. It was just on very romantic scenes, so it was good. I liked that one. And oh, the epilogue. If you're going to read this series, skip the epilogue. Just skip it. I was reading the epilogue and I was like, you're writing an interconnected series. We're going to see these characters in the next book, and probably not with a time jump. It's gonna be right after this finished. Why are you writing an epilogue from 5 years, some years in the future, when they have grown kids? And why do we have to have that? I mean, I guess it's for the people who don't want to continue the series, but the epilogue was so jarring. Suddenly we went from their, oh, that's gonna be a spoiler. So we went from the end of the story to 5 years in the future. They had kids and they couldn't. I don't like it. You know, I don't think it should have been there. I think she should have just left the epilogue for the last book so that we could see the future of all these characters, and that would have been fine. But I didn't really need to read the book, see 5 years in the future and the kids and the grown-up versions of some of these characters, then go back to the time that we're actually in. And I'm assuming there's going to be another epilogue. So that's that. Skip it if you can. And now I'm going to be starting the second book. It's called, what is it called? Training the Heart. Yeah, I'm going to start Training the Heart, and I can't wait to read about Ivy and Wade. I'm sure I'm going to love it. I can feel how much love I'm going to have for this love story. Catch you up when I wake up. Good morning. I mean, it's basically noon now. I woke up, I played the audiobook, I worked out, and then baked a cake because we're going to go to a mountain village tonight with my dad. We have been going to this village for 12 years now, and I love it there. We don't really have internet there, so I had to download my audiobooks and the books that I'm going to try later on my iPad. About the book, I'm, I guess, 20% in now. As I predicted, I love this book way more than I liked the first one. Ivy and Wade are actually the kind of relationship that I like to read about. Wade is deep, sad, and kind of guarded, not because he's a bad person or because he wants to hurt other people. It's because he's been through so much and he feels so much pain, and he feels like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders, that he doesn't want to really let anybody else in. He just wants to survive and take care of other people that are in his life. Ivy is such a sunshine character. She's happy and kind and goes through life smiling, even though she has many things going on that she has to deal with, and they're not easy things. But her strategy is, let's go through it smiling and being hopeful. So they're kind of the opposite in this regard, and they match with each other so well. She has actually began to bring his walls down a little bit, and they're getting closer to each other. So I love seeing how she tries so hard to make him laugh and smile. He has dimples, and anytime she says something and sees a flash of that dimple, she's like, yeah, that's a win. I made him smile. And it's so beautiful, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm sure I'm going to love it. I already do, even though they're not together. So I think I'm going to like it even more when they're together. I'm going to update you, as I said, from the mountains. So you're not going to see this view for a little bit, maybe for the rest of the video. We'll see how much I read when I'm there. And hopefully it will be a very great week. I'll see you later. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the clouds coming up. We live in a very warm country. We're not really used to seeing this type of clouds. We only have them in the villages and mountains. So I'm here in the mountains, and the mist has gotten so thick that we can't really see anywhere. When we go outside to walk, we can't even see where we're putting our feet on, and it's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it, even though in Tehran it's so warm that we have the AC on all day. Here I'm wearing a sweater, and it's so much fun to go through from that weather to this one. And let's talk about Training the Heart. I started reading this one after the first part that I read in Tehran. Today, noon or evening. I think it was evening after my evening walk. And I was like, I'm going to read a little bit of this, go update the vlog, and come back reading. I started reading, and it's almost 12 a.m. I listened to the audiobook non-stop, and I was enjoying it so much that I couldn't bring myself to pause the audiobook, coming to talk and going back. I was like, let's keep going, let's keep going. This is what I wanted when I started reading Cowboy romance. This is what I wanted the first book to be, and it wasn't, but that's okay because it led me to this book. It's amazing. Wade Ashby is my newest crush. He's exactly my type. Everything that he does is so sexy to me. Every word that he says, I'm giggling and kicking my feet, and it's so good. Even imagining this man and all the things that he describes doing makes me want to just hop on a plane, get to America, get to a ranch, and find myself a cowboy. Save a horse, then ride a cowboy. Okay, these are the things that happened after I updated you last. So until this point, I have seen that their first kiss, which I screamed. My father was sitting in the other room. I was washing the dishes, and it happened, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I didn't want to overreact because then I had to explain to my father that a fictional cowboy was making me blush. It was amazing. It was amazing. His safe word is mercy. That's the best safe word I've ever heard. His safe word is mercy, and in the times that she can't speak, it's tapping his thigh twice. Please just give me Wade Ashby. I want him badly. Remember how when reading the other book, I said that sometimes dirty talk works for me and sometimes it really doesn't? It does here. This is the exact type of dirty talk that is so... It's a turn on for me, and it makes the whole scene way better. I can't even put it into numbers until it makes it twice better. It makes it so much better. This man talks, and I'm a goner. I don't know how Ivy is keeping it together. Well, she isn't. She's falling for him also. But I would have caved so much faster. He is amazing. I also love Ivy. She's one of the best female main characters that I've read in romance books. She's such a strong girl, and Wade actually really respects this strength. I remember there was a dialogue that he was like, "I'm not going to let blank character hurt you again," and she said, "I don't need you to save me. I got it myself. But thank you." She's not like, "Get away from me, I can do it on my own." She was like, "Thank you, I really, really appreciate your support, but I've got it." And he was not like, "Oh, why doesn't she let me help her?" He was like, "She's got this, that's amazing. I'm going to stand back, let her handle it." Give me a Wade fucking Ashby now. Their sex scenes are next level. The spice is amazing. It's not like... Well, it is. I wanted to say it's not like dark romance spice, but it's not like rom-com spice. It's like in the middle, but it's written so well. This man says so many unthinkable things in the middle of doing stuff that blows my mind. I'm like, how the hell did you come up with that? I'm going to read you a few examples of that. It's not really a spoiler, but if you really don't like to hear even dialogues from some part of the book, maybe skip a little bit forward. I'm going to put a timestamp on the screen of when I'm done reading. So this is from their first kiss. I'm not going to tell you what they're doing or in what context this is. because I really don't want to spoil it for you. It's one of the most amazing scenes, but I'm just gonna read you the dialogue. Ivy says, "The way you're looking at me right now, is this your war tactic?" And he answers, "Really? And just what way would that be? Like I want to find out if you taste as good as I think you do? Like it's the only thing I'm fucking thinking about day in and day out?" Ivy says, "Yeah, that." And he responds, "Find out, Ivy. Say mercy." Mercy is the best safe word ever, ever, ever. I'm going to read you another one. "You need a man who takes the time to know you, not just the way you look. You need a man who can handle your sassy little attitude, not to be threatened by it, and give it back to you tenfold. And you're the man who knows what I need. I know you well enough to know he wasn't it. At the very least, Ivy, you need a man whose hands don't shake when he touches you. You got steady hands, Chief? Rock fucking steady." He's just amazing. I'm going to try and read you just one more and keep it at that. This one is in the middle of doing stuff. And Ivy says, "Oh god, wait, fuck." He says, "Just one thing. The only name you call out when you come is mine, Ivy. I don't even want to hear God's name on your lips. He has no place in my bed with you. Understand?" I nod. Good girl. God doesn't have a place in your bed with her, sir? Sir, stop this. You need to stop it. I can't handle anything anymore. I had to stop the book because I was getting so excited. My cheeks were turning red and I was like, for tonight, this is done. I cannot spend any more time reading this because I'm going to lose my mind. Give me my weight, Ashby, please. See you hopefully tomorrow if we have electricity. Hey, look at how I look. Just look at me. It's pouring outside. The thunder is so loud, you feel like the mountain is coming down. And my father was like, "Let's go ride our motorcycle." And I was like, "Dad, it's pouring." And he said, "It'll be fun." So we went outside. I'm drenched. It's like I went into the shower with my clothes on. My hair is like soaking wet. And just look at my pants. This is life in the mountains with my dad. It was so much fun. That's Mount Damavan. Another 12 a.m. update. I'm sitting here again. We're still on vacation. Today was our last day. Tomorrow we're gonna go get up, get our things together, and go back home. I'm really sad that this weekend is coming to an end. I really enjoy being out of the city and out of all the stress and pressure that's always on me. I finished Training the Heart by Paisley Hope. I just realized that I've never said her name, sorry. And I'm gonna give it 5-star. This book was a win, as you predicted, I'm sure. It was everything that I wanted when I started reading Cowboy romance. The male main character was my type, down to a beat my type. Everything about him was my type. The girl was the exact type of female main character that I like, the kind that's strong, but not cold-hearted. She was sweet, nice, kind, and warm at the same time of being so strong. And I think we need more of these characters that can have this strength, but not turned yet into stone, basically. So yeah, as I said, I'm giving it 5-star. It was one of the best. It was a very great experience. I enjoyed every second of it. At the end of it, I was like, man, I really don't want to leave this ranch. One complaint that I have about it, I'm gonna say this and then I'm going to go back to all the things that I loved and go through them. The one complaint that I have is I think it should have been shortened a little bit. The amount of spicy scenes got too much at the end of the book. It was like we went from one scene to another scene to another scene, and then we got to an end. Then we got to the end. We had the epilogue, which I will talk about in a second, and then we had a bonus chapter, which was another scene. So even though I loved their spicy scene and it was the exact kind of spice that I love in my books, I didn't really like the repetition. It made it lose a little bit of its spark. And back to the epilogue. Yes, this one also had an epilogue from 9 years in the future when they all had kids. Their kids and Cece's kid from the last book were in it. And again, I really don't think we need these epilogues. I don't think we need the glimpses in the far future when the next book is going to bring us back to the near future and then move again. So I think it would have been better if you had book 1, book 2, book 3, however books that they're gonna be, and then a last epilogue which showed us the future. But well, I was expecting the epilogue this time and I kind of brushed past it and tried to not mind it that much. Yeah, those were the only complaints that I had, and they weren't really a structural problem, so still 5 stars. Let's go back to the things that I loved. As I said, the characters were amazing. I kind of loved watching Nash and Cece from the last book move along in their relationship, and it was their wedding. I mean, bridal shower, but I loved seeing them. It set up the next book between, what was her name? Ginger and the other brother, Cole? Yeah, I think his name was Cole. I wasn't really intrigued by them. I love Ginger as their friend, but I'm not really sure if I will love seeing her with Cole. I'm gonna give it a shot in the future when I really crave to go back to this series, but I'm going to put a stop on it for the sake of this vlog. And yeah, that was one of the things I love. The second things, we go back to the spice. The spice, perfect. The spice was perfect. This was my type. He was kind of a dominant, but not really. He basically edged the line of being a dominant. He was also a sadist and a masochist. If you want my opinion, they didn't really use those words, but I could see it in the scenes. There was one scene that I'm not going to talk about because it's spoiler, but it basically, how can I say it without spoiling it? It did something that they usually don't do with dominant, strong men in this type of books, and it was one of the best scenes. I loved what Ivy did to this man. I can't say it because you need to experience it on your own, but it was so refreshing, so interesting. I loved that scene. That was the second thing. What else did I want to say? Wade Ashby has one of the best tattoos in any type of romance book I've ever read. I will not say what his tattoo is or where it is and what that means. I don't know how she came up with it. It's amazing. Even thinking about it right now makes me blush. It was so good. And if you're thinking that you know what it is, you don't. Even if you're thinking about the dirtiest tattoo, I'm gonna promise you it's not that. It's something that seems way more innocent, but is way hotter. I loved his tattoo. I loved everything about this book. That's basically my whole thing. I loved the experience. I loved being in the ranch and watching them train the horses. I loved how Wade knew how to support her, when to step back and let her decide how she wanted him to help her, and when to take charge and just do it for her because she was being too stubborn. And he kept that balance so well, and because of that, he's one of my favorite book boyfriends. I'm kind of sad leaving the ranch. I'm sure I will read the third book just to be back in that atmosphere. This is what I wanted when I started reading this type of books, so I'm hoping that the next books keep this trend going and I find more five-star perfect cowboy romances. So right now I've decided what I'm going to read next. I've heard a lot of people like this. It's called Sovereign by Raya Morris Edwards. I've heard it's a little bit more spicy and a little bit more dark. I'm not sure how dark it's going to get, but a lot of people said they love this and the spice. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to get to bed and listen to the audiobook. Before I fall asleep, I will probably update you when I'm back home. Hi guys, a few things have happened. First of all, is this little cutie. Come here. Come here, come here. I have a new baby kitten. Look at him. Isn't he perfect? He's just like the cutest little thing. He was left in a park. He doesn't have a mom and he's so tiny that he needed help, and I brought him home yesterday, and oh, he's just the cutest little thing. Just, I love him. I'm gonna be his mom for a while at least. And yeah, okay. He's just going to lick me now. Yeah, I got distracted by the cutest thing in the world. So that was the first thing. The second thing is my mic has arrived. So my audio quality is going to be better from now on, hopefully. So thanks for bearing with me until I got my setting all fixed. And now let's talk about Sovereign, right? Let's talk about Sovereign. I started it, I finished it. I didn't update you because I was waiting for the book to finish and for my ideas to be, focused and organized. Here's the thing. Reading Sovereign after training the heart is like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. You can't eat that. Come on, jump, jump. You can do this. Come on. Oh my god, you're perfect. Ophelie! Ophelie, mama! Sorry, my kitty cat is distracting me. So yeah, reading Sovereign after reading Training the Heart is like going in romance genre. Is like going from Lights Out by Nevessa Allen to Haunting Adeline. I started the first pages and I was like, whoa, that shifted fast. If you were here, we got into here. Now, that's not the book's fault. I'm not saying I didn't like it because of that, because spoiler alert, I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. The reason was not that the whole last book was kind of cute and this one wasn't. That's not on the book, that's on me. That's not why I didn't like it. The reason I didn't like it and gave it 2 stars was one thing, and one thing only. Here's the thing. I can read any type of dark shit in my romance. You can do crazy locations, crazy positions, crazy dirty talk, crazy setting. You can do anything. You can run with anything and I'll be fine with it as long as we have consent there. I need the consent to be there. I can kinda get behind DOP-con and non-con. I just need the consent to somehow be there. And not in a blurry way. I need the consent solid there. You're looking at me. Stop looking at me. I can't speak when you're looking at me with those cute eyes. Sorry. yeah, I need the consent to be there fully, and then you can do anything that you want, and I'll be there, and I'll be like, good for you, you're a consenting adult. But if you don't have that, you've lost me. Okay, there are two ways that I cannot accept the whole consent, and I don't believe that it's consent. First of all, if you're like, she said no, but her body told me yes, or her eyes told me yes. Bodies can't consent. Okay? Consent is not for the body. Your body has some natural reactions to sexual stuff, and that does not mean you're consenting. Your body is built unconsciously to do those things for you, to help you, to help the whole physical part of sex, but that's not consent. Consent needs to be an adult, I repeat, an adult. Children cannot consent. An adult who is saying yes, or mimicking yes, or signing yes, or doing whatever it is that you have agreed for yes, okay? That's consent for me. If you're like, her body told me yes, no. No, it didn't. Her body can't talk. You know who can? She can. Ask her. That's the first one. And the second one, if the consent need to be coerced from that person, that's not consent. If you have to convince them, that's not consent. If you have to manipulate them, that's not consent. If you don't give them another chance, that is not consent. And that was this book. Okay? Here's the thing. We start the book and later on realized our main character, our female main character is a girl, obviously. When she was just a girl, a minor, her parents died. And when her parents died, she started living with one of their neighbors, the family, and they treated her really poorly, kind of. So she was neglected, right? Then she realized that if she doesn't marry their son, she's going to lose everything. So what did she do? She married him because she didn't have a choice. She was so young, she was like 18, barely legal. She hit that age and they got her married to their son, who abused her emotionally, physically. She was raped and stuff. Now she's 21 and I'm going to go get my noodles because they're burning. Now Kira is 21 and she's still living with that husband who abuses her, uses her as a maid basically, who cooks and cleans, and when he wants, accepts to have sex with him. And Gerard Sovereign, who is, 38? That's the number I have in my head. Somewhere along that line, walks in their home and sees this basically hurt, battered woman, and is like, yeah, she can make a great sub for me. I want her. Of course she can make a great sub for you. She's abused and hurt and neglected and had lost so many things. She has so many traumas that, yeah, you can make her a perfect sub because she doesn't have the capability to say no to you. That's not a sub, that's... Anyways, he decides that, and what does he do? He goes and basically you realize that, you know, it's not something like, oh, a big reveal. You know what happens. He basically unalives her husband, the abuser, which, good riddance to him. I didn't mind that at all. That's the only thing that he does that is actually right, in my opinion. I wish he didn't have ulterior motives. Then when the husband dies and Kira, you later on realize why, but Kira actually gets the whole ranch. They're ranchers, obviously. Kira gets the whole ranch. Sovereign sets up a meeting for the both of them. And he tells her that, hey, your ranch owes me so much money, owes my bank so much money that you can't pay. You have no way of paying. And guess what? Bit by bit, your ranch is going to be mine. Can you do anything about it? No, it's mine. And she's under so much pressure that she passes out. She just can't handle that much pressure. And when she wakes up in his bedroom, might I add, he basically tells her that, hey, okay, I know I told you that, and I know I told you there was no way you could pay this amount of money to me. Here's what we're going to do. He's sleeping. Oh, you're the cutest. Sorry. Here's what we're going to do. If you become my sub, I will pay your debt for you. And she says yes, because again, first of all, what other choices does she have? She doesn't have the money. She doesn't have any family. You're going to take her ranch away, her family ranch, so her livelihood, and you're like, okay, you either do this for me or lose everything. Of course she's going to do it for you. First of all, that's sex work. I know you're put it in a very, oh, she wanted it too, and she's so happy to do it, and she wanted nothing more from her life to become this man sub and have this man as a dom, which Kira doesn't know anything about submissive dominant relationship. Nothing. I know more than she does. And she doesn't really exactly go and search it up. You know, in 50 Shades, Anna at least goes on and do some research. She basically doesn't even do that. She asks this man to explain to her the rules. Which, girl, why are you trusting him to tell you the truth? But I'm not going to blame her because she's, again, very neglected and abused. As I told you, that's sex work. If you're forcing her into sex work, you're like, if you want to pay me and you don't have the money, you can pay with your body. And even though you're not saying it in those exact words, it doesn't change the truth that you're making her do sex work. And that is not, in my opinion, consent. Yes, she did it. Of course she did it. She didn't have a choice. What other choices did she have? And when you do not have a choice, in my opinion, that's not consent. That's just not. And the age gap, I'm somebody who can accept, I don't know, a 20-year age gap even. If they're both, you know, adults, that's fine. But in this case, this girl is so hurt and so traumatized that I can't really see her as a consenting adult. I think she's so traumatized based on all the things that happen that she can't really fully consent. And she's trying to survive. That's basically it. That's her only way to survive. And I hated that. I don't know why it was written like that. First of all, she could have been 26 and she could have had other relationships that were not her abusive husband and so much more experience. But that's not how she wrote the book. And to add insult to the injury, a little bit further in the book, he destroys her home in the ranch. He completely destroys it and says, technically, this house belongs to me because she's still paying me for the whole money that she owes me. And she basically tells the whole crew that is there to fix the home because of something that happens to just destroy it all. And you know what he says? I mean, we can understand that he's doing it so that she doesn't have anywhere else to go. That's it. You're just destroying her home so that if she wants to escape from you, she doesn't have anywhere else to go. And to make it worse, he says it. Or at least he thinks it. That, hey, this way she doesn't have anywhere else to go. Wow. How is this a romance book? Just how? I don't get it. That's it. I'm going to move on. I didn't like this one. I gave it, as I told you, 2 stars, and I was being generous. I didn't really like the whole dominant submissive parts either. So I'm going to now go and move on to the next book. Hopefully that one is way better than this one, because this just pissed me off. The next book that I'm going to read, I'm going to get into the whole mostly known authors. So an author that is very well known for their cowboy romances is Devney. And I've heard that many people love Indigo Reach and the Edens series. So I'm going to start Indigo Reach now. Please let me love this one. Please. I can't believe I haven't loved many books in this vlog. And he's sleeping. I'm going to start my next book, but he's the cutest little kitty. Oh my god. I started Indigo Reach, as I told you, and I'm just beginning it, but here's the thing. It's different with, thankfully, Sovereign, but also with Training the Heart and what was the other one? Holding Reins? Yeah. It's different with those two. Her writing is completely different. The good thing about it, in my opinion, is she has added a little bit of mystery in it. So our main character is called Winslow Covington. She is almost 30. She's very young, but she has recently become the chief of police in Quincy, Montana, which is really fun because Yellowstone is also in Montana, and I love to see that setting in my books because that's why I'm reading them, right? Because of Yellowstone. And she becomes the chief of police there, but the local people don't really respect her because first of all they believe that she's an outsider even though her grandpa lives there, and second of all because they think that she's too young, and the only reason she became the chief of police is not because of her own ability, but it's because of her grandpa being the mayor. In the beginning of the book, it's the night before her first day, and she's really nervous and she's set on making this community respect her. So she goes to the bar. She's set on not having a hookup with a resident of this town, and she meets somebody who she thinks is a tourist, and that person also believes that she's a tourist. So they're like, okay, what should we do? None of us live here. We should have a one-night stand in his own truck. Not even home, truck. And they do that. She starts her first day this next day, and the next day when she goes to lunch with his grandfather, the mayor, they go to lunch, and you know, this is a very small town, so there's only one really good place for lunch, and it's obviously not one very good place, but you know, that is close by and stuff. So they go to this hotel to have lunch in the restaurant of the hotel, and the hotel is owned by the Edens. Who are the Edens? The Edens were the founding family of this town, and they own this hotel, and it's run by their youngest daughter, Eloise. And her grandpa is kind of explaining to her that the Edens are, you know, one of the biggest families in this town, And you know, if you have their respect, you basically have the whole community's respect, and you should meet them, right? So the dad, the big Eden, and his eldest son come around to say hi, and you can guess who the eldest son is. It's Griffin, the one night stand. So it's awkward, and she was so set on not making a mistake, not hooking up with a townie, so that everybody can respect her and think that she's professional. And now she has just blow it all off. And the sex was really good too, in a truck. I was talking to you about the mystery. So what happens is, on one of her first days, they get a call from this ranch, the Eden's ranch, that somebody has unalived themselves on their ranch. There's a part of this ranch that are mountains and stuff. It's called Indigo Ridge, and it has happened before. 2 other girls have unalived themselves there before. This whole community believes that, okay, sometimes young girls go to this location to unfortunately unalive themselves. But Winslow is very new, so she has a fresh set of eyes. He doesn't really believe that this was something that this girl did, but it's something that somebody did to her, or at least that's her gut feeling. So she starts investigating that, and she's the chief of police, so she has to be in direct conversation with Griffin, the eldest son who's running the ranch, and she doesn't have a history with, which she does. So she's really, they're both trying hard to not act on their desires, but let's see where it goes. Same day, I'm flying through this book, thankfully, because Sovereign was really a disappointment, so this is really making up for that one. So here's the thing, how's the story grown? I'm not trying to spoil anything for you, so I'm not going to talk about the mystery, which is a big part of this book, and I love that. And about their relationship, so right now, again, not trying to spoil it, they are really attracted to each other, obviously, so they are having some moments with each other, some experiences with each other. I'm not going to say more than that. What I love about Devney Perry's writing is that what she's doing is, right now we're getting to know these characters. Right now we don't really know either of these characters or love them. So what she's doing is, first of all, she is making us know both of them separately, so each of them separately, and she's explaining to us their pasts and their presents. But when they're together, we see them getting to know each other. What we don't get to see is the spicy moments, which I think is a great idea. I think she's keeping that explanation of those scenes for when we really care about these characters and their relationship. And right now, they are treating this as a very physical, just once, okay, just one more time, okay, well, you're hot, so let's do it again, type of way. And she doesn't show us that every single time, so that we're really waiting for the time that they actually want it because they love each other and we get to see it. I think that's brilliant. I think one of the downfalls of very romance books is from the moment they hook up, we are seeing it, and we don't see a difference between when they're first hooking up and when they're in love. So it's just a repetition of scenes after scenes after scenes after scenes. What she's doing is she's building her characters, and she's building up that hype of one day in this book we're gonna see them do it, not just hear them talk about, okay, last night we did that and that's it. So great job, Devney Perry. And I think I'm going to finish this book actually today. Wouldn't it be nice if I love this book so much that I'm going to finish it in one day. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Guess who's done with Indigo Reach? That's me. I did it. I finished it in one single day. I'm giving it 3 stars. If you're thinking, oh, you loved it so much, why are you giving it 3? Here's the thing. It was a great book. Okay, it was a good start to a series. I could see that she was trying to set up the series so hard because it's a very long series and they're a very big family. They're actually like the Bridgertons. If you look at it, right? He has a brother, Knox, which is after him, the second child, and he sounded amazing. I want to read from him. There are the twins, Talia and whatever the other one name was, Leia, whatever. Then Eloise and Matteo. So he has 5 siblings, and I'm assuming that each of them have a book, obviously. It's called The Edens, so we have that. And we got to know them. The mystery was a big part of this, and I very much like that. My kitten is looking at me. You're distracting me all the time. Oh, you're yawning. Don't look at him. Right. And so yeah, the mystery was a big part of it. I'm kind of not sure how the other books are going to go, since the mystery was because of Winslow, the police, and the chief of police, and it kind of wrapped up. So I'm not sure how the other ones are going to fill in that gap, but we had that. I liked Winslow as a character. I kind of liked Griffin, but there really wasn't a great deal of chemistry between them. Yeah, I couldn't really see that. I can see that it's the whole case with first books. You're new to this family, this ranch. I didn't like holding the reins when I loved training the heart. So I'm assuming it's the first book in a series thing. So I'm giving it 3 stars because it was a good start, but it wasn't really an amazing book, in my opinion. I loved Training the Heart way more than I loved this one. The spice was barely there. Even in the end of the book, if you're checking the spice level, Training the Heart was here and this is here. If that. So the spice was not really there. I didn't really see that much of a chemistry between these 2 characters. I liked the fact that she had her own job and responsibilities and wasn't just attached to the ranch. I liked that too, but it was fun to have somebody outside of this ranch being connected to it through something else. The mystery wasn't really bad. It wasn't that special, but it was a good mystery considering it was mainly focused on the romance. We usually have less interesting mysteries when we're in a romance book. So that's that. I'm giving it 3 stars. I will probably in the future read the next books in this series because I liked the Edens and I liked the ranch. So that was fun. I finished that. I'm going to take a pause. Yeah, I'm not going to read for a while. I think I read too many cowboy romances and I kind of need a break. I'm gonna go on and read some other genres, and you're not gonna realize, but I'm going to take a break, and when I'm back you're going to see me and I will be back at reading cowboy romances. And my cat is the cutest thing in the world. He's napping. I will show him to you if I can. Look at him. Isn't he adorable? Didn't I have the right to just get distracted by this cute little angel sleeping here? That's actually my blanket. He is apparently in love with my blanket, so he's been sleeping on it since the morning. He just ate a lot. He was really hungry, so now he's sleeping on my bed, on my blanket. He's the cutest thing in the world. Hey guys, it's been a week. I can't believe I'm saying this. For you, it's been 1 second. For me, it's been a very long time since I've read a cowboy romance. I needed a break, and I made the, I think, right decision to just pause them and read other things, which I did. And initially, I had the idea that I was going to post this vlog, and then right after that, post my August reading wrap up. This was supposed to be my second video in my channel, but you know what happened? Remember when we were in the mountains and I was filming? At that time, I was filming with my iPad. Now I'm not. Now I have another device that I'm going to always be recording on. But on that time, I wasn't really ready. Still, I didn't have my mic and I didn't have my camera, so I was recording with my iPad. And the day that we were coming back to Tehran, I got a very bad news. Yeah, which is going to affect my life for at least one more year. I'm not really ready to talk about that yet. It doesn't really matter. So I was really distracted by that news, and we had to just get going, otherwise we would be late. And if you're late on that road, it's going to be jammed and you can't really get home for hours. So I didn't want that to happen, and I was really distracted, and I just packed up my stuff and was like, I'm ready. Guess what happened? I'm very organized, so I put all of the things that I was going to pack in my bag on each other based on height, and I was going to put them all in my bag to come back to bring back, and I forgot them all lying there on my bed. So for the past 2 weeks, it's been 2 weeks. For the past 2 weeks, I haven't had my iPad and my earbud and my power bank and a lot of the things that I usually use. So I couldn't really post this vlog because, again, my iPad was not here. It was in the mountains and I was here. Now, what is going to happen is tonight we're going to go back to the mountains after 2 weeks, and I'm going to get my iPad back, thank God, because it's been really tough without my iPad. I read on my iPad, which was fine. I read on my phone, and it's very natural for me to read on my phone. I didn't used to have an iPad for years, and I read on my phone. It's more natural to me to read on my phone than my iPad, but I play games on it while listening to audiobooks, and not having that was hard. Not having my videos were harder. And anyways, I said all of this to say that tonight we're going back to the mountains, and I realized that I'm going to start the last book of this vlog now, so that I can finish it when we're there, and it would be a full circle. What I'm going to read last, as I promised, is an Elsie Silver book. I learned how cowboy romances worked, and now it's time to read a book from Queen of the Cowboys, Elsie Silver. I'm going to start, obviously, with Flawless. I'm not sure, I'm kind of nervous, because what if I don't like Elsie Silver? What if everybody loves her? And what if I don't? That's going to be really bad, but I'm hoping that I'm going to love her, and I'm going to end this vlog on a positive note. Right now, I read 4 books, and out of 4 of them, I've only loved 1. I've loved 1. One of them I liked. One of them was mid, and I've hated the other one. So now, if I love Elsie Silver, it will tip the scale towards I like cowboy romance. So Elsie Silver, I'm just trusting you to take me through the finish line, and I hope I love cowboy romance, and this will prove to me that this is the genre for me. So I'm going to start Flawless right now, and I will probably update you when I'm back in the mountains, because it's, way more fun there. Obviously, I'm not very well dressed there, because when you're there, you wear something warm and something that you don't mind getting dirty, because it's a very, very rough countryside. And I'm really excited to go there. I'm going to bring my kitty cat there because he's still very tiny. Hopefully, it's not too hard on him. And I'll see you there. Elsie Silver, don't disappoint me, please. Hello, everybody. Guess where I am? You know where I am, I told you. So I'm here and I'm sitting in the second floor balcony in my childhood rocking chair. I used to love this chair so much. When I was in second grade, I used to sit in it. This was in Tehran back then. And do my homework, even though it was not comfortable at all. But I spent hours doing my homeworks on this tiny chair. And I loved it. I have my coffee. It's great. Everything just tastes great here. And I'm going to show you the view after I'm done talking to you. Now, let's talk about the book, which is why we're here. So, I started Flawless yesterday. Yeah, yesterday when we got here. I started reading Flawless. Everybody that told me that Elsie Silver was amazing was not lying. Elsie Silver is great. I was expecting a mid book because, as my experience has been in this vlog, first books in the whole series are not really my thing. But guess what was my thing? This book. Flawless is really great. I loved going to this ranch. I can see this ranch vividly and I want to live there. It's one of those, settings that are described so perfectly that you feel like you just want to hop on a plane and go there. I love it. And the concept is very funny. Our cowboy is called Rhett, and Rhett is what are they called? Bull runner? If that's what they're called. And he's really famous for that. He has lots of sponsors and stuff. At the beginning of this book, there is a scene that he's talking to somebody and he says that he hates milk. And the mics are on and everybody hears that. And basically everybody, every rancher, every farmer, everybody is mad at him because they think that he's being disrespectful to their jobs and their labor, even though that's really not what he meant. And he has this whole PR company, basically, and an agent, obviously. This agent has a daughter, Summer, who is our main character. And Summer is assigned to spend a few months with Reg to make sure that he doesn't really screw up anything else and loses all of his sponsors. And that's how this book begins. They basically talk like she's being his babysitter, which he kind of is. And he's such a big man and angry. And he's like, seriously, in this age, I have a babysitter? And he's so funny. Even though he looks very gruff and grumpy, he actually has a very kind heart. And he's basically a teddy bear. And I love him for that. He has a brother. He has an older brother, Kate. I cannot wait to meet him in his own book. I'm sure he has his own book and I cannot wait for it. I'm sure it's going to be great because he's the exact type of very grumpy, very serious, hardworking, sad, traumatized man. And I want that. Apparently, I'm really into elder sons. I'm an only child. So I don't know what that trope is going to be. I'm 55% in. I flew it through this book. And we have spent this whole time, well, in the ranch and also at, competitions that he goes through. And, you can see that both of them want to be with each other, but she's being very professional. Oh, the wind is crazy. What the hell is happening? Jesus! Let me show you. Look at this. This is crazy. What's going on? Damn. Okay, this is new. The weather was not windy at all a few seconds ago. Just changed this drastically. Oh! Alright. What was I saying? Right, I was saying she's being really professional because she works with her dad and she wants to prove that she has this job not just because of his dad, but because she's very capable of it. She has a law degree, for God's sake. And yeah, so they're not doing anything yet, but the chemistry is there. I love their chemistry. Even there are tiny moments that they share with each other, you can see the electricity buzzing. He has like his shoulder is kind of messed up, and the simple thing of her rubbing some ointment on his shoulder is it's very great. There was actually another tiny scene. They're in a hotel. The heater in her room doesn't really work, so she goes to his room, whatever, and they're lying down, and she's very cold. So you know when you're under the blankets, your leg kind of moves. So her feet goes to his side of the bed. He warms her foot with his calves, and it was so cute. I'm going to read that part for you because I was like, "Oh, how did you write such a mundane thing so beautifully?" It was cute. It was really cute. Oh, I just remembered. He calls her princess because, you know, she works with his father and her father is kind of a big deal. He calls her princess and it is so cute. I squeeze Red's pant back and turn toward him, feet crossing over to his side of the bed, seeking warmth. Jesus, Summer, he startles, but doesn't move away. Your feet are freezing. I pull them back instantly, grateful that he can't see me blushing in the dark. Sorry, I wince. Sorrier that I took the freedom of touching him like that when things are already so tenuous between us tonight. The only thing you should be sorry for is not telling me you were an ice cube. I should have knocked on your door earlier, he grumps, right as his long legs stretch across the bed and he tangles them with mine, capturing my frozen feet between his calves. Okay, my voice comes out breathy as the warmth from his body seeps into mine, heating me from the outside in. Oh, that's such a cute scene, isn't it? She just wrote a very simple scene that is very, very intimate and cute and kind. I told you, he's a teddy bear. He's big and looks mad and dangerous, but he's so kind. I love him. I think there was something else I wanted to read to you. I wanted to tell you this. We meet her sister, Winter, which is funny because her name is Summer and her sister's name is Winter. And Winter is the opposite of her. She's so sunshine and warmth and kindness. Winter is really angry, you know, angry, cold. They call her bitchy because she kind of is. And I can already see that she's going to have her own book. You can see from the moment that they meet her that she's going to have her own book and explain why she's like that. I'm not going to spoil it. They had their first kiss, kinda, and I was screaming inward. I wasn't screaming out loud because my dad was sleeping, but I was screaming inside. It was great. And I have the moment that I realized that I like Kate. Remember when I told you that Kate, his older brother, is really great? And this was the moment that I realized I want to read his book so bad. Okay. Seriously, Kate bites out, shaking his head. If you spent your entire life being responsible for you two yahoos, and now a kid who takes after the likes of his fucking uncles, you'd be grumpy too. That sobers me a bit. I know Kate has the weight of the world on his shoulders. In recent years, I've come to understand him better. I'm split down the middle of my two brothers. At times, I can be quiet and grumpy like Kate, but I can also be playful and reckless like Bo. I don't mind Bo. Bo is funny and fine. I'm sure he has his own book too. But Kate? Please let the second book be about Kate because I can't wait to hear from him. Please let the second book be from Kate, please. I'm then going to continue it. I'm reading it in a rate that I'm probably going to be done with it in the next update because I'm so excited while reading it that I can't really pause and come update you and go back. I just highlight things and write things down so that I will tell them to you later. I have more thing that I want to read to you. The way they bicker is so funny. I love that they just bicker and joke with each other all the time. So he has done something basically stupid and she is responsible for his actions. So she's mad at him. So in this scene, they're riding. So she's on a horse and that's what she's talking about, riding a horse. And it's from Rhett's POV. So from his POV, hear this out. It's how I met my best friend Villa. It's also why I should have known riding in this dress would have pinched my thighs to shit. She shifts in the saddle. I lean down and whisper into her ear. Well, your chivalry is not lost on me, which earns me a firm elbow in the ribs. Your stupidity is not lost on me. If you'd been caught, I'd be the one in shit. I'd be letting people down. They're so cute. I love them. They're so funny and they just bicker all the time. And one second they're bickering and fighting, the other second they're having a very cute moment. We also had a moment that she's really stressed and he hugs her. And it's so cute that he looks at her being so stressed and he doesn't say anything. He's just like, come here. And he hugs her. He's such a teddy bear. Give me a red. I want a teddy bear who hugs me all the time and warms my feet with his calf. Anyway, I'm going to update you when I'm done. I'm loving Elsie Silver. She's becoming one of my favorite authors. I can see why she's the queen of cowboy romances. I see it, okay? You were right. Whoa, the wind is crazy. Holy shit. Look at that. Feels like the trees are coming inside our room. Jesus. It wasn't windy. Whoa. Oh my god, look at that. Okay, maybe I should get away from the window. Okay, this one is crazy. I'm gonna get downstairs before I kill myself. I'm joking, obviously. Oh my god, look at that man. Why is he on the roof in this wind? So, hey everybody, quick update. We went out motorcycle riding and the weather was great, but we had to rush back home because, our little cat was alone and he's still so tiny and we don't really like leaving him alone because that makes him very sad, obviously. So we came back and I read their first spicy scene together. I'm telling you, Elsie Silver knows how to write a spicy scene, guys. I was gagged. I was shocked. I was blushing. It was amazing. I still don't know if I think the spice in this one is better or the one in Training the Heart. I'm tipping a little bit towards Training the Heart, but this one was also very good. I'm impressed by Elsie Silver. I'm going to read you some quotes that I highlighted and I screamed over because damn. Okay, so I'm going to read you some of their conversations in the middle of doing stuff. Talk to me, Summer. You want me to fool this tight little cunt? Fuck. The work whooshes out of her as her eyes widen in surprise. Such a proper little princess. Have I got your attention now? You've always had my attention, Red. Her confession comes out quiet and soft, like a secret shared between lovers, and like a balm to my deepest wounds. It goes on. You're soaked, Summer. Is that mess all for me? I swear I can see her cheeks flush pink, more of a purple in the blue glow. Yes, she says meekly, sounding almost embarrassed. And well, that's just not going to do. She needs to know how wild this makes me. I love it, I growl, dropping to one knee. You know what I'm imagining when I'm reading these scenes? Instead of Red Eaton, I'm imagining Rip from Yellowstone. He just speaks in the same way and uses the same words, especially the word woman. He calls her woman when she does something crazy. He's like, "You're driving me crazy, woman," and that's what Rip used to say. And I keep imagining him in these scenes, and it's making it so much better. It's making it way better. Let's see if I wanted anything else to share with you. Oh yeah, I did. I definitely did. Underneath this part that I've highlighted, I've written, "Holy motherfucking shit, dude." Hold on. She tries to press closed her free leg, and I slide one finger into her red heat while tutting her. Nah, nah, nah. Don't get all shy now. Leg is wide open for me, princess. Damn. I was right. Holy motherfucking shit, dude. And okay, here's the thing. This is after they're done and their pillow talk. I'm also trying to figure out how I'm going to continue sleeping with a client who only has one night stands. Fuck one night stands. My hands glide up over her ribs, pushing her breasts together. It would be unprofessional for me to continue, but she's smiling now, looking light and sweet and totally fuckable. Fuck professionalism. I growl, tweaking a nipple. Yeah, well, Kip Hamilton might not share that sentiment. You're still a client. Her eyes sober. Fuck Kip Hamilton too. He's fired. Okay, I want to rest in my life. Seriously, I'm too anxious and depressed and, feeling a lot of pressure all the time. I need a red in my life to just be like, fuck this, fuck that too. Whatever. He's great. They just share so many great moments with each other. Again, I think Spice level of training the heart was a little bit higher. The amount of spice was more, the scenes were more, but I love this. It makes me laugh too. That one didn't really make me laugh. Remember when I told you he calls her woman? Here is one example. Jesus, woman, the things that come out of your mouth sometimes. I giggle and soften against him. Fine, fine, you started it. Started what? This. I feel the rumble in his chest against my shoulders. I did not. You did. You kissed me first, I joke. Huh, I thought you said that meant nothing. They're so cute. They're just such a great match. Red is my beloved teddy bear, and she's such a sunshine character. I just love that about her. And they have a scene that I'm not going to talk about because it's kind of a spoiler that I don't want to have. I mean, it's not a big deal. Let's just say she's on the phone with somebody and he's downstairs while she's on the phone with this person. And she's not a very quiet, girl. It was really amazing, especially if you know who's on that call. It is not her dad. Nothing like that. It's better. It's somebody else who needed that. And it was such a great scene. There's basically not that much left. I have like 10%. I'm gonna be here in, what, an hour? I'll see you in an hour. I'm sure it's gonna be great. Guys, I'm done with Flawless. I cried. I cried with the ending of this romance, very fun cowboy thing. And I can't really believe that I cried. You know, no book made me cry in this vlog. I mean, they're cute, fun little books. They're not really something to cry over. But, you know, there were some conversations in this one, and I was feeling very emotional, so I cried. And I giggled a lot too. And I am so happy for these characters. And actually, I want to go to the next book right now. That's how excited I am about this series. So, Chestnut Spring is one of my favorite series now. Who saw that coming? Certainly not me. I didn't even want to give Elsie Silver a chance. I thought I would hate Chestnut Springs, and here I am loving it. Oh my god. Let's see if I have anything to read to you, and then we will wrap this book up, okay? I have something to share with you about Cade, and this actually made me want to read his book way more than before. He just showed that he's not just an angry, hurt man, but he's actually very, very deep, right? This is him talking. You think we all pick on you writing bulls because we're just being dicks? It's because we love you. You don't remember when Mom died, but I do. I was there. I watched our dad hold her while she bled out. Suddenly, at 8, I was wrangling you and Bo because Dad was a shell of himself, focused on taking care of Violet. And now I'm a single dad. I watch Luke grow every day, and I dread the day I can't be the one to keep him safe. Continuing, when you have a kid, everyone warns you about the sleepless nights, the explosive diaper changes, how they grow so fast that you hemorrhage money on clothing them. What they don't tell you is that you'll never spend another day of your life without worrying about another person. You'll never completely relax again because that person you created will always, always be on your mind. You'll wonder where they are, what they're doing, and if they're okay. Not knowing where Bo is or what he's doing is bad enough, but he's serving this country. He's got a good reason to be gone, but you fucking won it all. Twice. You make millions of dollars. If you had a brain, you would take that money and set yourself up real nice. When is it enough for you? I think Cade really cares. I think he's one of those people that act like they don't care and they're mean and cold because they care too much. And they just get frustrated because of how much worry they have and they lash out on the people that they love the most in the world. And I can't wait to hear his inner thoughts. I think he's going to be a great character. Now, let's just have our final talks about this book. This book I'm going to give 5 stars because, again, I loved it. I loved being in Chestnut Springs and their ranch. We were not really in the ranch. We were more in the whole rodeo things, but we see glimpses of their ranch and how beautiful it is and how much they all care about it. So it set up a series very nicely without being too boring and feeling too much like just a setup.
That was really great. Red was an amazing main character. He was a very great character to begin this series with because, first of all, he wasn't our completely misunderstood, dark, grumpy character. He had that, in him, but it wasn't his whole personality. And we had a character that was both serious and really, really kind hearted and goofy at times, too. And Summer was also a great female main character to begin with. She was really kind, really warm, and she brought that warmth into the book and made this story way more emotional and touching. So, I think this was a really, really, really great book. The spice was not too much that it took away from the emotional parts, and it wasn't too little that it wasn't really there. So the balance was amazing. And I get why people love reading Elsie Silver because she makes you feel emotional and happy and sad and everything at once. She also speaks about some important stuff like you need to feel enough as who you are and not just try to do things that make you enough, which is something that I struggle with so much. And she spoke about it in a very indirect way that you got the conversation without it being too much in your face. We set up the side characters that are going to have their own books. So great. I can't wait to read from Cole, from Winter, from Villa, from Bo, and Jasper. And everybody in this series was so interesting. I even want to know about Bailey. And Bailey was just in this book for one scene bringing drinks to somebody's table. And in that scene, Bailey was written so fun that I even want to know about Bailey. So she's a great writer, and I'm so glad that I made this vlog so that it could push me towards actually giving her a fair shot, and I loved it. With this vlog comes to an end. This was a very fun month. Not other books, but the whole trying Cowboy romance was really fun, even though I didn't love each and every book. The whole experience was really fun. I think what made it really great was sharing it with you guys. Obviously, if I had done it on my own, it wouldn't be half as fun as it was doing it with you. So if you're here, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. This is really my dream. Talking to you, talking about my passion of books is really a dream. And thank you so much for being here. I hope we have more fun vlogs together, and I hope you stick around. If you're here, please like the video, and if you like to see me go through other genres and subgenres and tropes, maybe subscribe and stick around and comment whatever it is that you want me to try next down below. I would appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. It's night here. What time is it? It's 11:30 p.m. So it's very late here. I'm going to have a good night, but you have a good day if it's a day, and if it's a night, good for you. Have a great sleep. Love you. Bye.